learn a new lesson, that is lesson number 8, how seasons occur, part 2. Okay, part 1 we have already studied in first semester. Part 2 we are going to study in this second semester. Okay, so children, see, we have noticed the longest day, the shortest day, and the days with the same duration of day and night, day and night time in the months of June, September, and December. Right? We have observed this, all these. Okay, so there was also few activities done in the lesson number 1. Okay, we studied about the sun and the horizon. Okay, and we have studied all about it. Okay. So now see, children, these dates are same everywhere. Okay, the dates in which we have seen the longest day, shortest day, and the days with the same duration of day and night time. These dates are the same every year. Okay, generally they are what? They are same every year. So now with the help of children, see, there was the shadow experiment also. With the help of that, noted the change in the position of sunrise. Okay, it keeps changing. The position of the sunrise, what? It keeps on changing. Now see, so now children, see, we are going to study more about the changes in the position of the sunrise and the difference in the duration of day and night. Okay, we are going to study more about it. Now see, first we are going to study what? About the apparent movement of the sun. Okay, children, what are we going to study now? Our first topic is apparent movement of the sun. Now see here, children, we have actually realized through our observation that the positions of the sun at sunrise appears to change on the horizon every day, right? We have, because of the experiment which we have conducted or we have seen, we understand that the position of the sun at the sunrise appears to change on the horizon every day. Clear? Its position appears to move towards the north or south in the course of the year. So throughout the year, what happens? The position appears to move towards the north side or towards the south. Okay, during the year. But what happens, children? Is sun really moving? No, sun is not moving anywhere. Okay, in reality, sun does not move anywhere. Okay, it is the earth which is revolving around the sun. Clear, children? Sun is not moving anywhere because of earth's rotation and revolution. We can see that. Clear? So the movement of the sun towards the north or the south in a year is called what? The apparent movement of the sun. Clear? What is the apparent movement of the sun? The movement of the sun towards the north or south in a year is called what? The apparent movement of the sun. The position of the rising sun keeps on moving towards the south. Now see, children, we are going to study two important points. That is what? Dakshinayan and Uttarayan. Okay, so what is Dakshinayan, children? The position of the rising sun keeps on moving towards the south in the period from 21st June to 22nd December. This period is called as what? Dakshinayan. Okay, what it is called as? Dakshinayan. When the rising sun, its position keeps moving towards the south side. Okay, and what is the duration? What is the period? From 21st June to 22nd December. Clear? That period is called as Dakshinayan. Now from 22nd December to 21st June, okay, from this period, the sun keeps moving towards the north. Clear, children? It starts moving towards the north. So this period is called as what? Uttarayan. Okay, Dakshin means south, Uttar means north. Clear? The name itself is giving information about it, right? The revolution of the earth around the sun and the tilted axis of the earth. We know earth's axis tilted. Clear, children? We studied about it in our previous lectures. So its rotation and revolution are the two factors. They are the two important factors which are responsible for the apparent movement of the sun. Clear? So see, children, if there is a question in the exam, okay, or if there is a question arises like this, okay, what are the two factors which are responsible for this movement, apparent movement of the sun. So what are the two factors? The revolution of the earth around the sun and the tilted axis of the earth. These are the two, they are the two factors, important factors, which are responsible for the apparent movement of the sun. Clear? Now, seasons occur only with reference to the northern and the southern hemispheres. Clear, children? So now see, here we are going to see one figure over here. Okay, we are going to study about the cycle of seasons, equinoxes and solstices. Okay, solstices. Okay, now what are these? We will study clear in detail. Now see, children, here in this picture you can see that clearly. See here, in this picture you can see that here earth is what? Earth is actually revolving around the sun, right? It is what? It is revolving around the sun. Okay, so now you can see children, in our first chapter we have studied the region which is facing the area of the earth, or the part of the earth which is facing the sun rays. Okay, it is what? There it is summer season, and the part which is in darkness, it is experiencing winter season. Okay, we have studied about it. So see, children, here you can see that the sun rays are falling on the earth's surface. The north pole is what? It is facing the north pole is what? It is facing the sun rays. So what is here? It is experiencing, north pole is experiencing summer season, whereas winter season is experiencing what? Here, sorry, south pole is experiencing winter season. Clear? Now see, children, the solstices are what, children? It is the time or day at which the sun reaches its maximum or minimum declination. Clear, children? What is solstices? It is the time or day at which the sun reaches its maximum or minimum declination. Okay, it is declining. So maximum declination or minimum declination, which is marked by the longest and the shortest day. Clear, children? So here right now you can see here it is experiencing what? Here in this upper region there is what? Summer solstices. That is from what, children? Here, just a second. Now you can see here you can see that in this picture here it is experiencing what? Summer solstice. Okay, that is the maximum or the longest day. Okay, now here 21st June. Now here what is happening, children? In this picture you can clearly see that here you can clearly see that the pole is experiencing what? Sun rays. They are falling perpendicular on it. Okay, and here the north pole is what? It is in darkness, means it is winter season over there. So from this what we can see, children, here we can see that at 22nd December, that is what? That is the longest. Okay, see here, night is experienced. Okay, so what here I have told you about the solstices is the time or day at which the sun reaches its maximum or minimum declination. So here we can clearly see that here it is seen the winter. We can see here what? We can see about the winter solstice, okay, in this particular period. Okay, children? So now, here also you can see 21st March is marked as equinox, okay? Yes, here you can see that equinox is a period, children, that both the poles are at the same distance from the sun, okay? Now that is called as the equinox, when both the poles are at the same distance from the sun. This period is called as the equinox period. That is, you can see, okay, here you can see near here you can see that this region is experiencing what over here? Spring equinox, that is 21st March period. And here you can see it is 23rd September, that is equinox, autumnal equinox period. Okay, that is the period. Now moving ahead, children, we are going to study about the aphelion and perihelion positions. Okay, we are going to study about the aphelion and perihelion position. Now, what are these two terms, children? We are going to see perihelion and aphelion positions of the Earth. Children, we have studied about the perigee and apogee positions, right? Okay, in lesson number 2. So it is related to it now. So the path of the revolution of the earth around the sun is what, children? It is elliptical, that is, it is the shape of an ellipse, right? So here the revolution, its path of the revolution path of the earth around the sun is what? Elliptical. Clear? So the sun is at one of the two centers of the ellipse. Now sun is what? It is at one of the two centers of the ellipse. The sun does not change its position. We know, right? The sun, it does not change its position. It is the earth which is moving around it. Okay. So as the earth moves in an ellipse, its distance from the sun does not remain the same. See, children, we have seen sometimes it is near, the earth is near to the sun, sometimes it is far away from the far away from the sun. So see, children, this is the earth which is revolving around the sun, right? So sometimes it is near, because of this elliptical shape. What happens? Sometimes it is nearest to the sun and sometimes it is far away from the sun. So see, children, when we have studied about the perigee and apogee position. When the earth is nearest to the sun, it is what? It is in the perigee position. When it is far away from the sun, it is what? It is in the apogee position, right? So here, as the earth moves in an ellipse, its distance from the sun does not remain the same. It is at its maximum distance in the first week of January. This is called the perihelion position of the earth. Clear, children? In this position, the southern end of the axis is towards the sun. So see, children, here in the perihelion, you can see the southern end of the axis is what? It is the southern end of the axis is towards the sun, right? And in the opposite, here in this picture you can see as against, okay, in this opposite side, in the first week of July, the earth is farthest point from the sun. It is away from the sun. You can see the distance also, children. Clear? Here the north pole, okay, here it is facing what? Sun rays. Clear? The earth is at the farthest point from the sun. This is called the aphelion position. In this position, the northern end of the axis is towards the sun. Clear? So here we have clearly understood from this picture about the aphelion and perihelion positions, children. Now here you can see that the Dakshinayan, that is January, okay, the northern hemisphere is experiencing what? Winter. See, children, we are what? We belong to northern hemisphere, right? So that is why we are experiencing winter season right now in the northern hemisphere. Clear? Now here, whereas Uttarayan, that is July, the northern hemisphere is what? It experiences what? Summer season. Clear, children? So this is how, whereas the southern hemisphere, it is experiencing winter. Earth's elliptical orbit, see, children, it makes an ellipse shape, okay, it moves in that orbit. Clear? That is why sometimes earth is nearest to the sun or it is far away from the sun. Now see, children, here seasons occur due to the revolution of the earth as well as due to the tilt of its axis of rotation. We have to keep in mind, children, that the seasons, they occur due to the revolution, okay, due to the revolution of the earth as well as due to the tilt of its axis of rotation. Moving ahead, we are going to study about the equinox term. Okay, like I told you, in this period, what happens? Both the poles are at the same distance from the sun. See here, we have seen these both the poles. They are what? They are at the same distance from the sun. Okay, so this period is called as the equinox period. Okay, they are at the same distance from the sun, both the poles. Clear, children? So now see here, as we know that Earth revolves around the sun, so the equator receives what? Perpendicular rays on 2 days. Clear, children? As the Earth is revolving around the sun, because of that, what happens? The equator, it receives what? Perpendicular rays. So you can see here clearly, equator is receiving what? Perpendicular rays on 2 days in the year. This condition occurs. When this condition occurs, it occurs on 21st March, children, and on 23rd of September. Clear? On these 2 days, sun rays are falling perpendicular on the equator. Clear? And on these two days, what happens? Both the poles are at the same distance from the sun. So this is called equinox. Clear, children? It is called as what? Equinox. Okay. Now, here you can see that the illuminated and the dark portions of all the parallels, including the equator, are seen in this picture. See, children, you can clearly see that illuminated part and the dark part of all the parallels. The 5 parallels which we have studied: Arctic Circle, Tropic of Cancer, Equator, Tropic of Capricorn, and Antarctic Circle. So all they are shown in this picture. Now the circle of illumination divides all the parallels from the North Pole to the South Pole equally. What is happening, children? See, the circle of illumination, it is dividing all the parallels. It is actually dividing. See, you can see how it is being divided, dividing all the parallels from the North Pole to the South Pole equally. Okay, so everywhere on the earth, children, night time and daytime are of equal duration. Clear, children? The night time and daytime everywhere on the earth are of equal duration. Okay, it is of what? It is of the equal duration, means same time, same amount of same duration of same hours of night and same hours of day. Clear? So this condition is called as what? Equinox. Clear, children? What it is called as? Equinox. Clear? Now, on equinox, the sun rays are perpendicular on the equator. Okay, children. So during equinox, okay, when this is occurring, the sun rays are what? They are falling perpendicular. You can see they are falling perpendicular on the equator. So in this condition, what happens, children? The circle of illumination, it coincides with the great circle. Now, great circle is called as what? Equator, right? So the circle of illumination, it coincides with the great circle defined by 2 opposite meridians. Clear, children? The imaginary lines, we know, we have studied about the meridians, right? Okay, so in the northern hemisphere, what happens? Spring prevails. Clear, children? In the northern hemisphere, what happens? The spring prevails from 21st March to 21st June. Whereas in the southern hemisphere, what happens? Autumn prevails. Okay, from the autumn prevails from 23rd September to 22nd December. The southern hemisphere has the opposite seasons during these periods. Clear, children? So we experience, okay, the opposite. So when there is autumn, when there is spring in the northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere experiences what? The autumn, and vice versa. Clear? So here in the northern hemisphere, 21st March is called spring or the vernal equinox, whereas 23rd September is called the autumnal equinox. Clear? The equinox or the solstice dates can vary. Okay, there can be variation. It's not same, it's not fixed. Okay, can vary by a day or so. It can vary, children. Clear? Now, moving ahead, children, you can see that in figure A, 21st June. Okay, it is that period, and figure B is what? 22nd December. Okay, right? So now what is happening? Figure A is, in that figure, North Pole is receiving what? Is receiving sunlight. And but in figure B, the North Pole is what? It is not receiving sunlight. It is in darkness. Okay, children? Whereas the South Pole is receiving sunlight. Okay, which hemisphere has the longest daytime on 21st June, children? Which hemisphere is going to experience the longest daytime? The northern hemisphere. Okay, what it is going to experience? The northern hemisphere is going to experience the longest time. Okay, now and here, which hemisphere will have the longest night on 22nd December, children? That is the northern hemisphere. Okay, the northern hemisphere is going to experience the longest night on 22nd December. Clear? Okay, now here next is the Tropic of Cancer. On which date will the Tropic of Cancer receive perpendicular sun rays? Tropic of Cancer, we are discussing what? Tropic of Cancer, it is going to experience, or during the 21st June, it is going to experience, or it is receive perpendicular sun rays. Okay, and here in this picture, children, here in figure B, Tropic of Capricorn is going to receive. Okay, on 22nd December, Tropic of Capricorn is going to receive the perpendicular sun rays. See, children, here, this region. Okay, clear? And here, or during 21st June, it is going to receive, Tropic of Cancer is going to receive perpendicular sun rays, whereas on 22nd December, Tropic of Capricorn is going to receive perpendicular sun rays. Okay. The 2 days, that is only on 21st June and 22nd December, the sun rays become perpendicular on the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, these 2 days are called as solstice days. Okay, what are they called as? Solstice days. Okay, now moving ahead. Now see, children, sun rays are never perpendicular. The sun rays are what? They are never perpendicular on any of the parallels between the Tropic of Cancer and the North Pole, or between the Tropic of Capricorn and the South Pole. You can see clearly in this picture, children. Okay, that is, they are what? They are never perpendicular or on any of the parallels which are between the North Pole and Tropic of Cancer. Okay, and or the Tropic of Capricorn. 21st June is the longest day, and it marks the shortest night in the northern hemisphere. Okay, children, it is very important. We have to keep in mind that 21st June is the longest day and the shortest night in the northern hemisphere, while 22nd December is the longest day and the shortest night in the southern hemisphere. 22nd December is the shortest day in the northern hemisphere. Okay, children? Whereas in the northern hemisphere, it is the longest night. Okay, in the region, now we will study about the Arctic and Antarctic circle. Okay, children? So in the region from the Arctic circle to the North Pole, the sun rays, we know very well the sun remains visible for 24 hours or longer, right? At the North Pole, the sun is visible in the sky from 22nd March to 23rd September. Okay, that is for 6 months, March to September. Clear, children? Similar situation occurs in the region between the Arctic Circle and the South Pole. That is from the period of 23rd September to 21st March. Clear, children? On the equator, the duration of the day. Clear, children? What happens on the equator? The duration of the day and night is same throughout the year. That is of 12 hours each. Okay, we have to keep in mind. We should never forget. Now see, children, seasons have been decided on the basis of the duration of sunlight, equinox, and the solstices. Clear? Seasons, they are have been decided on these three, on the basis of these three things, that is duration of sunlight, equinoxes, and the solstices. Now children, the equatorial region does not experiences any change of season. Okay, it is very important, we have to keep in mind. The climate in that region does not change at all in the year. Clear? The climate remains constant, it does not change. Now the places beyond the equatorial region in either hemisphere, that is in the northern or southern, summers or winters are experiences one after the other within a year. Okay, we can see that the occurrence of seasons one after the other in a year leads to the cycle of seasons, right? There is a cycle, right? We experiences different seasons. Okay, and there is a pattern like summer, then rainy, and then winter. Clear? It doesn't, it never changes the cycle, that it's not like after summer there is winter season and then there is rainy. No, it's a cycle. Okay, the occurrence of seasons one after the other in a year, it leads to the cycles of seasons. Now there are two seasons, children, generally, that is summer and winter on the earth. Okay, however in some places seasons taken to be four in all. Okay, now next here is, children, the change. The changes in the atmosphere, vapor in the air, and the wind, okay, the precipitation, they are what? They are the factors which influence the seasons. Clear, children? Obviously, atmosphere, vapor in the air which is present, the wind and the precipitation, they are what? They are actually influencing the seasons. Now continuous occurrence of rain in a specific period give rise to an additional season. Okay, besides what? Besides the summer and winter, right, children? So there are some regions which are experiencing rainfall for a specific period. So with the summer and winter, additional season is also included in these regions. So due to local conditions, seasons other than summer and winter are also seen in different parts of the earth. Okay, even we can experience it, right, children? We can experience the rainy season also. Okay, now that is why, see, rain occurs in India in specific period. So India experiences rain in a specific period, right? And additional season is included. So now therefore we consider four seasons. That is summer, the rainy season, the rainy season, the period of retreating monsoon, and the winter. Clear, children? These are the four seasons which are experiences. And there are the four seasons in Europe, North America too. Clear? So they are what? In North America and Europe, what are the four seasons? They are summer, autumn, winter, and spring. Okay, children. Now, moving ahead towards our last topic, that is the cycle of seasons and the living world. So now how the cycle of season is affecting, or it is influencing the life of the living world. Okay, living things we are going to see. Now see, children, if the Earth's axis were not tilted, can you just imagine if the Earth axis was not tilted, we would have the same climatic condition would have been prevailed, or we would have experiencing the same climatic condition throughout the year. So it is because of the Earth's axis, it is because of the Earth's axis is tilted, we are experiencing the seasons. Okay, different seasons. The seasons would have not occurred if the Earth's axis was not tilted. So one and the same time of the climatic conditions would have been seen, children, on each of the different parallels. It is the tilt of the axis that leads to the occurrence of seasons. Okay, so like I told you just now, and the change and diversity of the Earth. Okay, children, so because of the changes, because of the Earth's axis as it is tilted, we can see different seasons occurring, and the change on the Earth. Okay, diversity we can experience on the Earth. Now the living world on the Earth is affected by the cycle of season, right? Because as the season changes, we start, there are the changes experienced in our lives also. Okay, so for example, in the region between 66 degree 30 minutes and 90 degree. Okay, so means 66 degree 30 minutes, that is what Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle. So this region and the poles, okay, in both the hemisphere, even in the mild sunlight which is available for them, okay, the mild sunlight, okay, those regions are what, children, they do not receive sun rays, they receive sun rays, uh, they receive extremely slanting sun rays in that region, right? So what happens, even the mild sunlight which is available for that part of the year gives rise to the certain flora and fauna. What is flora? The plants, and fauna is what? Animals, okay? So it gives rise to certain flora and fauna. Okay, now in the Antarctica region, in the in the Antarctic region, okay, at the southernmost part of the earth, birds like penguins, fish like seal, and animals like walruses are found. Okay, children? In the polar region of the northern hemisphere, animals like reindeer, polar bears, Arctic foxes are found. Clear? Now, people living in these regions, they have to adapt to the natural conditions which are occurring in that particular region, right, children? We have to adapt. Why? If we will not change, or if we will not adapt ourselves to that, it is very tough for us to survive in that particular region. Our adaptation to climatic conditions is possible only up to a certain limit. Okay, children, it will occur only up to a certain limit. That is why organisms prefer a certain habitat. Why? Because see, children, at a certain limit only we can tolerate, or we are able to adapt the condition. Okay, that is why. What happens, children, the organisms, they prefer a certain kind of habitat, okay, where they will easily survive. Okay, they won't have to do more changes, okay, in their characteristics, or the way they are living. Okay, now during extreme cold climatic conditions, when the food supply becomes scarce, a number of birds and animals, they migrate. See, children, what happens when there is the extreme condition, okay, during the extreme climatic conditions, that time what happens, the animals are what, it is very tough for them to survive in that particular region, and the food is not available. Scarce means what? Very less, okay, insufficient. So what happens, the number of birds and animals, they migrate temporarily, they move, okay, from that particular region. Trees bear fruit in a particular season, therefore agricultural seasons also depend on to the local climatic conditions. Clear, children? So this was our lesson. It was very easy and it was very small, children. Okay, our chapter here is completed.